Nominating conventions are just a few weeks away, and some GOP delegates are mounting last-ditch efforts to force a contested convention. Donald Trump is the presumptive GOP nominee, but some congressional Republicans aren't endorsing him and are even planning to skip the convention. There's a brand new anybody but Trump movement. House Speaker Paul Ryan has backed Trump unenthusiastically, some might say, but recently has said that GOP lawmakers should, quote, follow their conscience when considering endorsing Trump. On the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders is still hanging in the race despite Hillary Clinton being the presumptive Democratic nominee. Following Clinton's win in Tuesday's primary in Washington, D.C., the pair met at a hotel room where Sanders vowed to help Clinton defeat Trump. However, he still is not suspending his campaign. A new poll by Reuters shows Clinton's lead over Trump slipping after the Orlando shooting. But Americans still have unfavorable opinions of both presidential candidates. That begs the question, how many of you are planning on writing in someone on your ballot? Trump versus Clinton and the presidential race is our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page and Twitter. Use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom, our panel led by our senior legal analyst Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. All right, so a lot to talk about here. Let's talk about first the GOP delegates and what they may be planning to do at the convention.
Well, this movement started months ago, kind of fizzled, but it seems to be gaining steam again after Trump's latest bout with hoof and mouth disease. His attack on the judge, his stumbles, and then most recently with his response to the Orlando shooting really caused a lot of GOP insiders to say we just can't have him as our nominee. And that started this new round of anybody but Trump. The problem is the anybody but Trump has some backers that want somebody else, but there's nobody else who's a legitimate candidate who's really stepping up saying they'll run. And so it's one thing to say we want to put somebody else up there. It's another thing, Mustafa, to me, is to get a legitimate candidate to say, I'll put my name up there and I will go to the convention and try to get delegates to switch. That's a tall order.
It's a tall order, and he did win it fair and square. I mean, he got enough votes, he got enough delegates, and that's how he got there.
And that's what conventions are all about. He went through the process, he won, he should get the nomination.
Yeah, and the challenge for Paul Ryan, who's not only the highest ranked Republican, but was also chair of the convention, is that Donald Trump is an embarrassment to him and to our country. And so he's basically unprecedentedly said people should vote their conscience. Think about it. He is the highest ranked Republican. He is the chairman of the convention, and he is telling other elected Republicans that they should vote their conscience. So that's the state of affairs in the Republican Party, but it's really the state of affairs for our country right now.
There's actually two movements going on, and another one that's being billed as a bipartisan approach run by a former conservative, I can't find his name now, a former conservative who's trying to get a third-party candidate to run because he doesn't like either of the candidates.
Yeah, well, we talked about this several times. Both candidates have very high unfavorability likings. You see Bernie supporters who say anything but Hillary. You're seeing people saying anything but Trump. You're going to continue to see that until November because the two candidates a lot of people do not like. This is a statement from the Republican National Committee spokesperson. He said, Donald Trump bested 16 highly qualified candidates and received more primary votes than any other candidate in Republican Party history. All of the discussion about the RNC Rules Committee acting to undermine the presumptive nominee is silly. There is no organized effort, strategy, or leader of this so-called movement. It was nothing more than a media creation and a series of tweets. We heard similar stories coming into the state convention. I attended the state convention. Absolutely nothing came of it. I suspect nothing will come up of it at the national convention. Those who are saying that they want to put another third-party candidate, I don't know who's consulting them because they've missed a lot of deadlines from a lot of states to actually put a third person on the ballot.
Makes it tough this late in the game.
So a lot of this is a bunch of rumors.
All right, let's go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, let's take a look at Twitter. You can always weigh in, too, and see your tweet up on the screen by just typing in the hashtag Fox26 for Life. But this guy says, "Dear Mr. Donald Trump, if you really love America and want to see us thrive, please drop out of the race. Hashtag anybody but Trump." And then we'll go to a recent tweet from Trump. He says, "People very unhappy with crooked Hillary and Obama on jobs and safety. Biggest trade deficit in many years. More attacks will follow Orlando." He's not buying into any of this and says, "Look, I have such huge support." He says, if something were to happen at the convention, then a lot would have to happen, but you'd have a lot of upset people.
Well, and Donald Trump even said in response to this, he said, "Look, I don't need you people. I'll do it all by myself." Well, that's true Donald Trump all the way.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the Democratic convention coming up. Bernie Sanders talked about it last week. He just will not go away. Now, it's clear now that he just wants to go to the convention with his delegates and wants the platform molded as much as he can to get the platform the way he wants it.
Well, you got to give it to Bernie. I mean, he's working the system because they coronated Hillary years ago, and the fact that this 74-year-old socialist did as well as he did, he's taken all of his little marbles and he's saying, "Look, I have continued to raise millions. I have a serious following, and you people better listen to me." Up until the other night, he wouldn't even acknowledge that Hillary had clinched the nomination. I think that's hilarious because she had won the nomination. He wouldn't even acknowledge that. He still hasn't dropped out of the race. He's still saying, "I'm going to the convention." So I think the Democrats have a much more serious problem because you have this movement that Bernie has created, and those people are very upset that their candidate was never given a fair shot. Those are their words. They knew that because of this super delegate system and how rigged the whole democratic process is, that Bernie never had a shot. But he has a movement, and those people need to be talked to.
But he's lost a ton of support since California. The backers that he had are switching over to Hillary Clinton every day, and he realizes that.
Well, I think, if you look at the facts, she has more pledged delegates, she has more super delegates, she has gotten more popular vote. When it was a competitive race last time between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, the division between the two of them was 100,000 votes. The division in popular vote between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton is about 4 million votes. So she's not just won it, she's won it, decisively. And after California and then Washington, D.C., he should have dropped out, but he hasn't. But he hasn't. But, what's happened is that Elizabeth Warren has stepped in, Barack Obama has stepped in. So a number of people have come around, and I think he is, his welcome is about to run out.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in just about 15 minutes, wrap it up for the day.
Okay, we'll see y'all then. Thanks so much.